Welcome back to the Silver Lining, where it's no filler, no fluff. We just keeps it a buck. And today we're gonna be talking about AEW. What does AEW need to do to level up? So I got the crew in the building. Got my brother Stan in the building. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going.
Everything good? Good.
Everything's money.
Yeah.
All right, and I got Kurt in the building. What's going on, brother?
I'm just happy to be here, man. Always keeping the hood on, bro. Just in case I gotta keep the hood on, man.
All right. So the reason why this topic came to my mind is because I was looking at a lot of the backlash that the WWE was getting for the new deal that they signed with ESPN. I've seen a lot of backlash to that. So anytime I see the customer upset, the first thing that comes to mind is what is the alternative? And obviously, the biggest alternative right now is AEW. So the question is like, what can they do to like level up? And I guess also the question would be, what does level up even look like? So I'm gonna start with Stan on this one. When you think about AEW, how they can level up, what level up even looks like, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's hard to even. Everybody sees. You need to understand like the history of why the company even exists. And All Elite Wrestling was the was the outcome of Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega running an independent show in Chicago called All In, based on a dare from Dave Meltzer, and it was the highest grossing independent wrestling show in North American history. From there, that's where it kind of came from. And
Yep.
also understand that the WWE has been fucking with this company since before it even launched the show. You go back to 2018, they tried to sign all those guys. Triple H tried to sign all those guys to WWE contracts, all of them, because the word was already out that Tony Khan wanted to start a wrestling company. Tony Khan
Mm-hmm.
being the son of Shad Khan, who owns the Jaguars. Those
Mm-hmm.
guys are flooded with cash. They're actually, I think they're richer than the McMahons, than Vince was at the time. Um, so that word, once that kind of got out, they tried to sabotage it from the jump. Tried to sign all those guys away, give them massive money. Then they started signing all their guys to long-term contracts.
Mm-hmm.
When AEW first launched its first show, Double or Nothing, WWE ran an Evolve show the same day. A lot of people don't talk about this shit, but it's a fact. I don't know what levering up for them is, because again, the WWE is the Coca-Cola of wrestling. When the general public thinks of wrestling, they think of the WWE or the WWF, whatever you know. That's what they think of. They don't think of anything else outside of pro wrestling. When they think of wrestling, it's WWE. And I think AEW's done a good job of carving out their own niche in the space. But with the WWE so aggressively trying to basically buy up every wrestling property there is out there, they bought AAA, the Lucha Libre promotion in Mexico. They basically are going to buy TNA at some point. They have the right to buy TNA. They basically control TNA now. Their world champion is a WWE guy right now. It's an NXT guy. Is their world champion. They control TNA. They can control any aspect of pro wrestling as far as indies go. They can control, because they have this ID program that they have where they're basically going to these indies and saying, we're going to pick and choose who we want to sign to NXT contracts down the road. If we see a guy that we like, we're going to identify him and say, when we're ready, we're going to take him and sign him to an NXT deal. The only person they have no control over is Tony Khan. Like, he's the only person they have no control over. And this dude is rich. He's got loaded with cash. He can sign whoever he wants to sign.
Yep.
So it's like they have no control over them. They're trying to sabotage the company so that when they have a chance to sign another TV deal, it's not like the one they have now. That's all this is about. And so it's hard for me to say what's leveling up for them is. They're doing great business. The shows have gotten better. The shows were awful for a while, and I hadn't even watched the promotion for a while because I had kind of lost interest in them. And I started watching them and following them again recently. I watched Dynamite from last Wednesday. It's a good show. They ran at the ODCW arena, which is the kind of stuff they should be doing. They should be running smaller venues as opposed to trying to run these WWE size arenas. And it was embarrassing at a period of time when they were running these WWE size arenas and half the building's empty. They like I remember them running the building in Cleveland and only had like 1,500 people in a building for 20,000 people. That's horrible. You can't. So to
Mhm.
me, one of the things they need to do is, and they're doing it now, run smaller venues, make it look nice on TV. You don't have to be in a big arena for people to be like, oh, that's interesting. Be in an arena that looks full and has fans that want to be there. Run arenas that look like smaller arenas where it looks fuller and the fans are energetic into the product, want to be there. When you turn the channels and you see a wrestling show where it's like, they say, "Oh, it's not a big arena," but those people look like they want to be there. They're chanting. They're into every match. You might be hooked on that. Again, they have to decide whether or not they want to be an alternative or a zero sugar version of WWE. And they kind of been going back and forth on that. They've been going back and forth on whether or not we want to be an alternative to WWE or we want to compete with WWE. You're not going to compete with them. The WWE's been around for over 60 years. It's an established brand. They're flooded with cash. They're a corporate entity now. You're not going to compete with them. You're not going to
Mhm.
be on their level. You're just not. So what you have to do is you have to create your own lane in any space, and you have to create your own lane, create your own stars. I've been saying that for the longest time. They need to stop with the ex WWE wrestlers. Stop pushing those guys. Chris Jericho's been in wrestling since 1993, 94. I mean, we grew up with Chris Jericho in WCW. This guy is still actively wrestling. He hasn't been on AEW TV in a few months. And of course, the rumor out there going around is that he's going back to WWE. Let him go. Let him go. He served his purpose. He was the first AEW World Champion. He gave the promotion the credibility because he was Chris Jericho. Great, good. It's time to move on. Let him go. John Moxley, it's time to move on because the guy he's another guy that you look at as he's an ex WWE guy. He's an ex Shield member, and his penchant for doing that garbage wrestling shit is going to keep bringing that company down. It's cool to do these blood and gut matches every so often, but every fucking match he's in, he's bleeding. He's doing some violent shit. It's not going to appeal to people. So again, you have to ask yourself: are you trying to be an alternative to the WWE? Or are you trying to compete with them? You're not competing with them if you're doing that garbage wrestling shit. You're not. So they have to really start creating new stars, and they have done so. They've been doing and slowly getting back to it. And then it's the other thing where again, but when you say that, then you look at Mercedes Monet with all these fucking titles as if that means anything. And you just look at her and say, is this an ex WWE person? And she's gonna go back to WWE at some point anyway, so why are you featuring her? Because everybody knows she's gonna go back at some point, because they all go back. She just took the money, which is smart, and she's doing her whole because again AEW allows guys to work indies, which is a smart thing to do. He's letting her collect all these belts, and it's like it's stupid because it's not like you even recognize any of the belts, or you're gonna say, "Oh, she's the Red Pro British champion. I'm gonna watch Red Pro." No, you're not doing that.
So
It's
hold on.
dumb.
I actually disagree with that point on her, but I'm gonna put that aside for a second.
But
And I'm gonna come to you in a second, Kurt. But I had a couple of quick things. So first thing, I appreciate the history. I didn't know the history of AEW, so I appreciate that. I actually didn't know any of that. Um, and you were saying that they have to choose if they want to be an alternative, or if they want to be a zero sugar version of them. Like, don't you think there's like an in between point? Don't you think there's an in between point where they can be
It
what they
might
are
be.
to be bigger in that respect? Because I mean, you remember,
It,
and again, I understand it's like way back in the day in the dinosaur ages, but you know, Ted Turner straight came up to Eric Bischoff, was like, "What we got to do to compete with Vince?" And they said, "Give me," he famously said, "Give me a slot on Monday night," and he said, "You got it." Now, I'm not saying they should do anything like that. I'm just saying that I don't think we should just close it and say, "Oh, WWE been around for years, so you can never compete with them." I think that's a loser's mindset. Like I think you still should feel like, nah, like we want, if we in the business of this, we want to be the biggest we can be. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. But quickly respond to that so we can get to Kurt.
I do think there's a happy medium in there somewhere that they could be competitive, but also present a product that's different from what the WWE is presenting right now. The WWE is still, even with Vince gone, it's still very heavy on storylines, very heavy on promos, very heavy on the gaga, on the bullshit, the Hollywood shit. And I think that there's a way AEW can say, look, we're not into that Hollywood bullshit, all that gaga shit. We're just presenting good pro wrestling. And there's an audience for that. There's obviously an audience for that. So if they can attack that and kind of get into that, that might work. That, and it has worked for them. So maybe they can keep going with that. But I don't know, man. Let me see what Kurt has to say. I don't know about
Kurt.
how they can really level up to that level, because I don't think they can level up to that level, but they can level up, I think, to a level of we can be profitable and have our own little niche right here, but be profitable. But not, you're not going to overtake the WWE.
Kurt.
I think I think what they doing now is what they if they would have been doing this, what they're doing now, they'd have been doing this maybe 5 years ago. They would probably be on the cusp of where the WWE is. I think they fastballed themselves and then they had to drop back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But that's where they are right now is where they should have been. It's going to take time. You gotta understand the WWE has generations of generations. Like people fathers watch Bruno San Martini, and then their kids watch Hulk Hogan, and then their kids watched Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, and then their kids watched The Rock and Stone Cold, and then their kids watch it's like generations. That WWE shit is like um they're following when it's not just like AEW is for the wrestling fan. It's a great show for the wrestling fans. You go to a wrestling event to see good wrestling. But WWE is a family thing. Like people are showing up with their kids. Like you go to WrestleMania, you'll see three generations taking a picture at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? So it's like WWE is different. It's going to take them years and years to get there, like what the WWE is. But can they be like an elite? Like, can they eventually get to the place to where it's though they can do the stadiums and they do have a buzz like WWE? Yes, they can. But as of right now, it's it's really nothing they can do right now besides what they've been doing. Smaller venues, more focus on the young talent. I think I want to disagree with Stan on the John Moxley. I understand like him bleeding all the time. That is. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad at him bleeding all the time if he was doing it to put the younger, like Will Ospreay is like probably the best wrestler in the business right now. You know what I'm saying? But you had guys like that, like they have the talent. Swerve Strickland, they have the talent. Like John Moxley needs to become like what the Undertaker was. You know what I mean? The Undertaker was willing to put The Rock over if he needed to. He was willing to put Stone Cold over in this situation if he needed to. Like he was willing to use his influence. And another thing, when when Undertaker wasn't when the Undertaker wasn't like challenging for a belt, like it might be Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Kurt Angle at the top. He was doing shit like getting in a tag team with Kane, with the Big Show. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, now we got to fight the Hardys. You see what I'm saying? Like, he was doing things like that. I think if John Moxley can become that type figure for AEW, then that would help. That would help. Like 3 or 4 years from now, you'll have 5 or 6 made men. You know what I'm saying? Like WWE has made men. You know what I mean? Randy Orton, he's a made man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's not even like nowhere near the title right now. Like, you have like other guys like Dolph Ziggler. Anytime you see Dolph Ziggler in the ring, he's put over a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have guys like that in the past the WWE that are willing to put guys over. When I look at AEW, I don't see nobody at the top of their like corporation, of their business, willing to put guys over. Kurt Angle, he put AJ Styles over. Everybody loved AJ Styles, but it was the matches with Kurt Angle eventually that really made AJ Styles who they don't have that in AEW right now. You know what I mean? So they need that, and I think they should do a better job with the stories. They should do a better job with dictating not necessarily what's said, but how it's said when these guys got the mic. Because it just seemed like those guys get drunk and speak sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we just beefing with each other, yo. Let's just go out there. I think it should be more. It should be more like of a professionalized dictation, like WWE. Like, we want y'all to say this, but how y'all say it is up to y'all because y'all should know your character. But this is the way we want to go. A lot of times, this is just a bunch of screaming matches in AEW. You know what I'm saying? So it's a couple things they could do to improve their in ring and their locker room. Um, I I know what he said about Jericho, but see, Jericho. As long as Jericho is in AEW, it's a big middle finger to WWE. And he came in, and him coming to AEW kind of solidified them in a lot of people's eyes. But now he out there with the dad bod and the beer belly, like, like he needs to be right Jericho. He needs to be transitioning into the suit. You know what I'm saying? He needs to be transitioning into a Paul Heyman type. You know what I'm saying? For a younger guy to be a heel. You know, you have MJF. You got these great guys. Like, what are they doing to push MJF more? Like, what are they doing to make his name bigger? So there's some things they can do, but in terms of being where the WWE is, that's going to be at least 10 years, bro. 10 to 15 years. But at the rate that they're going, like, slow progress is better than no progress, right? So as long as they can just push young talent and, like I said, clean up their publication a little bit because they got the talent there. Um, I like I like Mercedes like being the queen of all queens right now. I don't really have a problem with that. But is she gonna? Are they gonna use her? Like right now, she's the queen of all queens. When it's time for her to, being that she has so many belts, she can put over 2 or 3 females because she has so many belts. She can. Are they going to use her to like increase the population of the locker room, or are they just going to use her as a trophy? Like, if you're making her a trophy right now, because 5 months down the line, you want like let's say like Tony Storm. You want Tony Storm to get bigger. Like, are you going? Are you going to let her lose one of those belts to Tony Storm in a big ass match on a pay per view where everybody's watching? Are you doing that with you know what I'm saying? And you paying her big money anyway, so she should be fine with it, right? But in terms of catching the WWE and upgrade right now, I don't see a way. I really don't see a way, especially without the WWE's help. No, I don't see that being possible. But 20 years from now, you know, 10 years from now, at the rate that they're going, just smaller venues so you're not expanding yourself too much and focus on putting these guys over. Because we have fan favorites in WWE. I mean AEW, I'm sorry. We all have fan favorites in the AEW, but they need to do a little bit more to push them. You know what I'm saying? Invest your money in the streaming. Like
That's
everybody,
where I'm going. That's
you
where
know
I'm
what I'm
actually
saying?
going. Yeah.
Like the WWE put the divas out there. You know what I'm saying? The WWE they did things outside of they put their wrestlers in movies and put their wrestlers in and now they're big enough to where as though their wrestlers draw a name. But it was a time where Vince McMahon had to wet some palms. You know what I'm saying? Like I want him to be on Saturday Night Live. If I got to pay y'all 50,000, Vince did what he had to do to put his money back into his brand. So I just think they should do a little bit more towards instead of like trying to chase the WWE. Just be happy with where you're at, because there's a subsection of wrestling, of the wrestling world, and the fans that want an alternative to WWE. You know what I'm saying? And it's a subsection of that's like they're like not tired of the WWE, but like they want something new, want something fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like so, as much as I love Monday Night Football, I wouldn't want to see the same two teams play 17 weeks out of the season. You know what I'm saying? You want a variety. There's a subsection of fans that do want a variety and is appreciative of AEW because they're the greatest competition WWE had since WCW.
Yeah. Without question.
So be happy where you at and
They were very
slow
competitive
progress.
with them. There was a period of time, probably like in 2021, that they were competitive with WWE, like seriously competitive in terms of like live event attendance and TV ratings and merchandise and pay per view. Like they were competitive with them for a period of time. Again, when the WWE was really down, and
So I
when
guess that's what
Vince,
I think right now, like there is a lot of backlash on the WWE about this ESPN deal. So that's really why
but see, the
I
thing
think it's
is,
an
I don't
interesting
understand why.
conversation.
I really don't understand why it's backlash on that because everybody's doing that.
I
So
get it.
why is anybody not saying about the NFL? The NFL did the same thing. The NFL has spread itself so far as you got to have all these goddamn streaming services to watch all of our games. You want to watch Monday Night Football, you got to have ESPN. You want to watch Thursday Night Football, you got to have Prime. You want to watch the Black Friday game, you got to have Prime. You want to watch a Sunday Night Football game, you got to have Peacock or NBC. If you want to watch the Christmas Day games, got to have Netflix. If you want to watch the international game on Friday, I think the Kansas City and the Chargers are playing on Friday, week one. I think that game's on fucking YouTube. Gotta have YouTube.
So,
They have spread themselves so much that I think that it's the same thing. Everybody's doing it. The NBA did it. The NBA is gonna be on fucking Prime and Peacock this year.
Yep.
Excuse me. So everybody's doing
But
it.
what I'm saying is why there's right or wrong, there's backlash out right now. That's what I'm saying. And so there's backlash, and when there's backlash, to me, in any form of business, when there's backlash on one, the question becomes what is the alternative? And the AEW is the alternative. And that's really why I want to have this conversation. And so I'm
Right.
coming at this more so from the person who's not like I love wrestling. I've been watching wrestling my whole life. But like today,
Right.
I'm not like a every week watcher. Like I don't watch Raw every week. I don't watch AEW every week. I just kind of tune in when I can. I try to watch a lot of the big shows, but I'm not like a hardcore fan. So I'm coming at this from the
Right. Right.
perspective
Right.
of just kind of your general watcher, right? To
Right.
me,
I got you.
I don't think that the idea that they should be happy where they are, I don't prescribe to that. I'm sorry. Like I'm not happy where I am. And I'm pretty sure y'all not happy where y'all are. We always want to level up to do more. So to me, they should be trying to level up to do more. And to me, the number one thing to me, number one, is that the pay-per-view model is dead. UFC just signed their deal. That the pay-per-view market's gone. The big boxing matches are going to be on streaming now. That whole pay-per-view thing, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
And I know that
yeah,
AEW
yeah.
does do great business in their pay-per-views. They get a lot of pay-per-view buys, and it's probably great for business. I get it. But I kind of feel like as long as you keep that model, you're still going to be at a certain point. You can't really go up that way. Like the only way to go up is your premium, what they call it, premium events or whatever.
Freedom Live events. That's the
Yeah,
new term they use for the
premium
pay per
live
views.
events. Your premium live events have to be available through a streaming app. Rather, I don't know what their deal is, but they have to make them available because I'm gonna be honest with you. I've actually never, and I've heard great things about AEW's pay per views or premium events. I've actually never seen one before because I'm not paying $50 for it. I'm just not. You know what I mean? Now, if it was available on streaming, I would turn it on. And so I know that the WWE is doing something where their next one of their next events is going to go head to head with one of AEW's events,
And
but
that's
it's not
bullshit.
really it's not really a fair fight because the WWE's events is going to be on streaming. Theirs you got to pay the $50 or whatever it costs, so it's not a fair fight. Now,
Here's
if
the
you
thing about that. I don't mean to interrupt you, but here's the thing about that. They're only doing that to fuck with Tony Khan because the reality is that if you're an AEW fan, you're going to buy the pay per view regardless. If you're a fan of AEW, you're going to buy their pay per view. You're not going to say, "Oh, I'm not buying the all out event so I can watch fucking John Cena and Brock Lesnar." You're not doing that.
Mhm.
Not when you know. Not when you know. I can watch that shit anytime.
Yep.
AEW made it. They have a deal with Prime where you can buy the pay per views on Prime, which is
you're
again a
still
lot
buying it
easier to
though,
try to. You're still buying it. I know I've heard they've been still trying to work on something with Max, but I don't know. I just think the pay per view model, like you said, man, is dead.
it's
Because like you
dead.
said, all these super boxing matches are going to be on Netflix. They're going to be on
Right.
ESPN pay per view. They're not going to be
But
on your traditional cable pay per view event. They're going to be on a
Yep.
streaming service now.
but
And
Stan,
like I
you
said,
you but Stan, you said it though. You said if you're a hardcore AEW fan, you're gonna order the pay-per-view, and that's great. That's great. But I'm saying is if I want to level up and I want to get more people, you gotta go with what it is now.
no,
And if
I
you
agree because again,
and
I
so
don't
if you
have.
yeah,
I
if it
agree.
was me, like me right now, if they doing this whole head-to-head premium live event thing, if they put AEW on, I will watch AEW. I've never seen an AEW show before in its entirety. So I would put that on if it's available, but I'm not paying the 50 for it. Like if you just have it available, I'm watching it.
Yep.
And I think that there are
AEW,
more like
yeah,
casual fans who would do that.
I agree.
Think about the UFC. Hold on. Think about the UFC. The UFC has been around for years. I remember back in like the mid 90s seeing the little pay-per-view things for UFC, right? We saw those commercials and we was like, that looks kind of cool, but I'm not trying to spend $40 for something I don't know what it is. The
Right.
UFC took off when they signed that deal with was it TNN or
Spike
Spike
TV.
TV? When they
Spike
signed
TV.
that deal
TV.
with Spike TV, and they were able to show some of the old stuff for free on the channel. That's when people was like, this is legit, and that's when they took off. You got to get because from what I've heard, AEW puts on like the best premium. I can't have trouble with premium live events. I have trouble with
Oh, their pay
I
per
keep
views,
wanting
their
to
pay
say
per
pay per view,
views, yeah,
but
their pay per views are high level professional wrestling. Like
yeah. So
they've
you
had
got to
some
get
long
that in.
shows, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
you got to get
fantastic.
that in front of people. Is what I'm saying. You got to get that in
Yeah,
front of the casual fan because once you
yeah.
do that, then it's like, okay, what's going on over here? That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. I personally, if I were them, I would try and work out a deal with HBO Max to get the pay per views to stream on the on Max. If you got to pay an extra like $9.99 for the access or what, they should lump it in with the sport like the sports package they have where you can watch like the team. Well, back where you could watch the NBA on there.
Mhm.
You had to pay, like, I think it was $9.99 extra a month or some shit like that. Group that in there and tell people pay $10 a month extra, and you can watch all the AEW pay per views live on Max. I think that's a smarter business in terms of getting people to watch the events. I understand, like I said, traditional pay per view is dead. UFC was the last one that was a big pay per view, and they just killed that market when they signed the deal with Paramount. Massive deal. I would shit. UFC signed a deal. They're gonna be making like $1 billion every year before they sell a ticket, sold a seat, sold anything. They got $1 billion profit. I mean, UFC and WWE right now are just at another level in terms of entertainment, in terms of the money they're making. It's gonna be hard for AEW to compete with that. So I think they still have. I think, like you said, right, there's opportunities for them to expand their fan base because again, there's a lot of people who do watch WWE and think this show sucks. It sucks. It's the same fucking shit every time, you know. And again, the WWE guys are getting older, man. All these guys are getting older. Randy Orton is not a kid anymore. AJ Styles is not a kid anymore. John Cena's getting ready to retire. Roman Reigns is got his foot out the door already, going to Hollywood. Cody's the same way. Cody's gonna be in a fucking Street Fighter film. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much going on with WWE and their guys getting older and guys' schedule getting reduced and guys working less.
Mhm.
That there is an opportunity for AEW to say, look, our guys work every week, our guys work every show, and we're pushing our young guys. I still think AEW's best strategy right now, they got Hangman as the world champion. Cool. Strict Swerve, Osprey. Osprey's the best professional wrestler on the planet right now. Period.
I
The
believe
best
so, bro.
professional wrestler is Osprey.
I
He
believe
is
so.
fucking fantastic. The shit he does in the ring is unfucking believable. It's unreal. The shit he does in the ring. They need to push those guys. I don't
Yep.
want to see Chris Jericho. I don't want to see these older WWE guys. Jeff Jarrett. Like Jeff Jarrett was featured in AEW TV wrestling MJF, and why? MJF doesn't need to be put over by Jeff fucking Jarrett. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
Sorry. Jarrett had a great career, but no. They've kind of gotten like they still feature guys like Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe in 2025 should not be featured on any wrestling promotions TV. Great wrestling career, had a great wrestling career in TNA, great career in Ring of Honor. Put CM Punk on the map in 2005 with his stuff in the Ring of Honor. He's old. You got to push and establish these younger guys and say,
They
look at the
should have
guys that we
suits
have.
on, bro. They should have suits on. Remember, Ric Flair had a suit on. You know what I'm saying? When he was with the Evolution and bringing the guys down, he wasn't Batista. Them dudes was wrestling. Every now and again, Ric Flair get a match, but those guys should have suits on.
Yeah.
Samoan Joe is amazing on the mic. He could be using that for
He can
Swerve
still
right
talk.
now.
He can definitely still talk. He can still get guys over in that regard. But in the ring, he's just a little step slower. Let's put it that way. He's a step slower, in the ring.
Let me ask
I
y'all a
just think that
question.
they
Let me ask y'all a question. How many AEW pay-per-views have y'all bought?
shit probably 6 or 7.
I haven't bought one. I,
See,
I haven't bought one of them, bro. I
and
haven't. I
that's what
watched
I'm.
their show. I
when they
mean,
were doing when they were doing shows. Yeah, when they first launched the promotion, they were only doing 4 pay-per-views a year.
Yeah.
So they were doing Double or Nothing. They were doing All Out, and then they did a couple others. Then, of course, again, like WCW back in the day, when they only did the 4 pay-per-views, they just started adding more shows. And then before you know it, they're doing a show every month. I think AEW should not have done that, but again, I get it. They should not be. I just think that it's a lot to ask of us to pay $50 a month for a show.
have I
That's
watched pay-per-views? Have I watched like their pay-per-views before? Yes. Have I like paid my own money for it? No.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like I haven't ordered AEW pay-per-view probably in a year. When my financial situation changed, it became a little bit difficult to afford that every month. But it's like asking people to asking wrestling fans to pay $50 a month for these shows. It's one thing if you're doing them every other month. You do 6 shows a year, which I thought they should have stuck with 6 shows a year. I thought every other month is a good time to do a pay per view. And then in the months that you don't have a pay per view, do a special. Do it like a Clash of the Champions
Clash of
like
the
special
Champions.
on
Yep.
live TV. You know what I'm saying? Like again, you're on TNT, TBS. Again, TNT just lost the NBA. What the fuck else are they gonna put on?
Hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's what to me. It's like That's what I would have done. I'd run 6 pay per views a year, and then every other month do a special on Max or TNT or Max or whatever. Do like a 2 hour Classic Champions like special. Feature your talent. Like I remember AEW ran a show. They ran a shit Collision after the NBA Saturday Night show. And that was the first time I had watched AEW in months, and it was a good show. They
Hmm.
ran this big Collision show right after All Star Saturday
Yeah.
Night,
Yep.
and again, I hadn't watched AEW at that point for months, and I watched it. It was a fantastic show. That's what you got. You got to do stuff like that. But obviously, the NBA is obviously golf Turner, but they can use their Warner Brothers connections. They can use that. Use the fact that you have Max. Put shows on there. I mean, again,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like you have to figure out a way to get more eyeballs on your premium events, your events that
yeah, yeah.
if they're what y'all are saying they are, you got to get more eyeballs on them. So I'm just looking at it more so from the business perspective. Like that to me is the number one thing they got to do. They got to do that. Like I'm just, I actually I watched the Mercedes Monet and Tony Storm match. I found it on YouTube and I watched it. It's a good ass match. Good match. It had a good atmosphere. It felt like a big event. So
I have to
you
find
like,
that match. 'Cause I haven't seen it yet.
yeah, I watched it.
I
I
gotta
found it
find
on
it.
YouTube. It was a good match.
Yeah, I gotta
And
find it.
I actually I like her with all the belts. I just know you said you don't like it. I like it because I like the way it looks
I think it's
visually.
corny, bro.
See, I
I
I,
think
I
it's
like the way
corny.
it looks visually. I'm just turning it on, and I'm like, damn, bro, she got all these belts. Like visually, it looks like that. And someone who just turned it on for the first time, like, damn, she must be like the best in the business. She got all these damn belts. It's just like a boxer when a boxer comes to the ring, they got a million belts on. You don't even know what them belts even mean, but visually, it looks like, well, damn, this
Exactly.
dude must be the best in the world.
I
But you
know
know,
the
I just wonder
idea.
good, man.
Yeah, the idea she's going for is the Ultimate Dragon. If you remember the Ultimate Dragon in WCW back in the day, he had like 12 belts. Same thing. He used to carry him to the ring and just be this impressive looking thing with all these fucking belts and shit. None of them, of course, were WCW belts, but he had all these belts. And I think that's what she's going for with this. And again, they tried this shit when they was in WWE with her and Bailey, because her and Bailey were the tag champions, and they both had the singles titles as well during the Pandemic era. And again, that was an awful era of wrestling, but they were the highlights of that era because they was out there going out there and having good matches with nobody in the arena. So
Yeah.
that was crazy. But yeah, I understand what they're going for. I just personally think it's cheesy because again, to me, belts are just props to me. They don't really mean a whole lot. But I understand what you're saying as far as the visualness of it. When you see her come out and she's got all these fucking belts, yeah, it's something. Again, she looks like a star. She looks like a Beyonce of wrestling now. That's kind of what she's going for now. I don't know. I just don't. I just personally don't care for it. But I understand what you're saying.
My thing is, what are they doing with that though? Like, when you build her up that big, like, what do you, because I don't mind them building her up like that. Making her, like, prove, like, anybody that want to smoke, they can get it. Like, I am the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not mad at that. But what are you going to do with that?
I don't know. I just think it looks stupid. Her walking around all these fucking belts on her. It looks stupid as shit.
Yeah, like I said,
It looks fucking
I think
stupid.
y'all are just digging too deep. I think it's just the visual aspect of it. Just you turn the show on. Somebody that don't know nothing. You turn the show on. It's like, well, damn, she got all these damn belts. This must be the stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's all of it. I think y'all are thinking too deeply to it, man. Um, I do think that again, just from the business side, I think that the premium live events being more available, I think is the number one thing they got to do. That's the thing they got to do. Number one, I think that
Right.
you can uh, capitalize on a lot of the criticisms about the WWE, not just the new deal, but now about ticket prices. I'm seeing that they're saying that I haven't
Oh,
seen
ticket
it.
price
People
out of
saying
fucking
that,
control.
yeah, people
Out
saying
of
that ticket
control.
prices is crazy right now.
Out of control. The
You
WWE
know,
ticket prices are out of fucking control. It's absolutely embarrassing how much they're charging people to watch a fucking staged sporting event. It's hilarious and terrible, and they know it is. They know it is.
right? So
You know, they
Stephanie
know
like,
it
McMahon
is.
ain't playing, bro. Stephanie McMahon ain't playing about that money, man.
yeah, I mean, and I
That's
think the way you capitalize off of that to me is that you kind of make it a thing of like the fact that you have affordable tickets. And I mean, remember back in the day when what was Todd Pettengill? You remember him in the old WWF stuff? He walk around talking to the fans. I think that like in between a match or something, you have like dead time. You have somebody in the crowd talking to a family. I don't care if it's a Planet family. And be like, hey, what's going on? Like, how many people you brought today? You got your kid. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of create a thing of our event is family friendly as well. Because another thing I think
see,
AEW,
I understand what you're saying, but the problem is AEW is not a family friendly product. Where you got guys out there swearing in their promos and blood and thumbtacks and guys. I mean, John Moxley took a fucking fork and attacked Darby Allin's ear at the pay per view to the point where it was bleeding. That's not family friendly, bro.
well, I think you got to dead some of that. I think you got to dead some of that. Maybe for your premium live events, you do a hardcore match like that, but I think you dead some of that. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, that's part of it. That's again goes back to what I was saying. Do they want to be a competitive product with WWE, or do they want to be an alternative to WWE? Which one do they want to focus on? Again, I do think they could be both, but you have to figure out which one you want to be. Because again, you can be competitive with WWE, but how are you going to be that way when you're promoting when WWE is supposed to be a family friendly product?
they swear
Now, a
on that too,
family
though. They be cursing on that too, though.
they do it every now and then now, but it's
Yeah, they
not
did.
so
That man
much.
did say, "Hey, Rock, go fuck
It's
this." He did say that shit.
yeah, they
Yeah,
did
so I
do
don't
that.
think.
Yeah,
Man, that's the
Yeah,
F
so
bomb. They got
I
the
don't
F
think
bomb, dog.
so. I don't think that's a
yeah,
thing, bro. Like I think that you can still present the product in a way of like, yo, you can bring your whole family to our events, and I'm not saying
Yeah, yeah,
explicitly
yeah.
say that. I'm saying do little things like, hey, what's going on? How many people yeah, my son is here. I got my such and such here. We watched the wrestling for years. Kind of create that
yeah.
feel that you can bring
Mm,
your family to this event. You know
you're
what I'm
right.
saying?
I
Like
get
this is
you.
just
You make
Hey,
a
business
good
so
stuff.
check
point.
I understand that like hardcore wrestling fans don't care about this stuff. I'm thinking about it from just business in terms of how you level up, not to just trying to like knock the WWE down. I'm saying I want to level up. It's not all
Yeah.
about them, but it is about the
Hmm.
fact that I want to get they're the biggest wrestling promotion. We're a wrestling promotion. So we're gonna go where the fans are. That's where the fans are. So we want those fans to see what we're doing. I'm not saying you should start coming out and start dissing the WWE and all that stuff.
no,
Yeah, they
I'm
need to
not
cut
saying
that
you can
shit out
earn
because they were
Bischoff
doing
shit
that
and you start, I'm not saying do that. I'm saying
because they were
they
doing that
can
for a
level
while,
up.
and yeah, they were doing too much of that. I felt like
Yeah,
back in the day they were doing too much of that, taking shots at WWE,
yeah.
and it was not helping their product. But I understand what you're saying, and I think that, like I said, the problem that right now the AEW has is the WWE sees hell bent on putting them out of business. That's the biggest problem that they might have is that Triple H wants to put them out of business
Good. You know
because
what
they
that
want,
you know what that means? That means we're legitimate if they want to put us out of business. Good.
yeah,
Come with it. But you got to be able to be competitive. And you can't be if they're putting events on next to yours, you can't be competitive if yours costs $60. You can't be competitive. You can only be competitive if it's like, yeah, well, we streaming too over here. Which one y'all
yeah,
watch?
yeah. That's a big thing. Streaming, and not just that though. Like not just streaming your app. Like you have personality. Like Xavier Woods and them. Like them boys, they play video games on live, all type of shit. Like let your let your let your wrestlers or teach your wrestlers or encourage your wrestlers to connect with the fans in different ways. Other than because the only way it's nothing you can do business wise, like with the paper to catch WWE. The only thing you can do is capture the people. And there
yeah,
is,
because
like I say,
that's
there is a subsection of wrestlers of wrestling fans that want an alternative. Not nothing against WWE, but we just want something different. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
what you got to do is you got to capture those fans. So in 10 years, they be bringing their kids there. It's a 16-year-old kid right now going to a an AEW event. He ain't got no children, but he will in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And when his son is 5, maybe 4 years old, 3 years old, guess what? Going to an AEW event. You have to create that. You have to be working to create that type of atmosphere now. Right now, all you can do is continue to put on good shows. Just put on good
Yeah.
shows. Like, that's all you can do. And
That's what I
and
think they should focus on. Just keep doing good shows. Keep putting on good shows. Keep pushing guys that are connecting with the audience. Let's stop with the ex WWE guys. Like again, one of their top programs right now is fucking Edge and Christian and FTR. It's Edge and Christian. These dudes are combined 250 years old. You
Yeah,
look it up. Yeah, they
that
got to stop that. They got to
I agree
stop.
with that. I agree with that. That's definitely that's where I wanted to go next. Like they got to stop doing that. Like unless it makes sense. Like if something makes sense, then yeah, if Charlotte Flair decided she wanted to become available, yeah, that makes sense. Let me get Charlotte Flair. But I mean,
That's different. Yeah, that's different.
Edge and Christian is not the answer, bro. Like, come on, yo. Like, I mean, it doesn't do nothing. Like, at some like the big problem with TNA after a while was I thought TNA had a little time period where they was actually doing some good stuff. But the problem with TNA is it felt like any wrestler that became available, they just signed them. Like they don't know
Yeah,
who they just signing. They like,
Mick Foley, then they got Ric Flair
yeah,
one week, and then Thing coming in. Like,
the
God
fun,
damn, bro, it's like
yeah,
a reunion of old niggas.
right, the Funkasaurus, sure,
Flair's.
bring them on. Like,
Yeah,
okay, like, come on.
yeah.
Like, at what point do you just like, all right, like they got to stop doing that. Like, if it makes sense, yeah. But I've heard people say they should sign that guy that y'all. I can't remember his name. The guy we was talking about last time. The dude that just
Across.
left.
Cross,
Who?
The problem with
Cross,
Cross,
I don't care nothing
Cross, the
about that.
problem,
As a general fan, I don't care nothing about that. Like, that's not
the
it. Like, I don't
problem,
care.
the problem with Cross is that most people believe that he's working everybody and he's still signed to WWE. I don't know that to be true. My thing is, if it were true, he'd probably be in AEW right now.
Yeah, I'm just out of the loop, bro. But like, this matters that much. Like, this dude, he
I don't
matters
want
that
to say
much.
it. I
Yo, he's
think
not even a
Cross.
wrestler, bro. Listen, man. I don't care about you having a buzz. I like good wrestlers. Like it's like to me, Karrion Cross is one of those rappers that got a good beat, a great hook, but his verses is trash. Like that's Karrion Cross, bro. I understand like he got time to grow, but I don't think he matters that much to answer your question. I don't, but he did create a buzz.
This is my question: is he a game changer though? When
No.
when when Chris Jericho left WCW, went to WWF, that was a game changer. That Y2J thing was a game changer. When
Yeah,
when
yeah,
when
yeah.
when 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 Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, um,
Big
Perry
Show.
Saturn, Dean Malenko, when all them dudes left WCW at the same time, that was a game changer. That shifted everything. When Kevin Nash and Scott Hall went to WCW, it shifted. That was a game changer.
Yep.
Is this dude a game changer? Because he did some YouTube videos. That's what I'm asking. Like, is he that big of a deal?
He can be. He can be. Like right now, with all his buzz, right? If AEW, right, sign him and let him work, do his magic, let him work his mic and all of that, do the mic skills, and they put him in a championship match and he wins. If they could capitalize off of this buzz he has, he can be. He could change some shit. He could shift some shit. But is he a game changer like Y2J with his arms open and the lights coming on? Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. No, he's not that.
Well, even
But
when
he
even
could
when
definitely
TNA
make an impact.
even when TNA signed Kurt Angle, that was a big deal. Like, is it
Yeah.
even that? That's what I'm saying though. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
It can be if you would have to like Chris Jericho coming to WWE, it was no way they could fuck that up. Literally, like he
Well, they
was.
did. Well, they did. They did at first. You can remember they did. They
I'm
did
saying
fuck it
upon
up.
his
They did. They
entrance,
did. Like Jericho, when he first came into the company, he was in there wrestling fucking guys he shouldn't have been wrestling. He was jobbing the people. He fucking got beat by China. Like I don't really know,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
but
that
he
was
again
filler
he
though.
overcame it.
That was just because it was crowded at the top at the time, bro, and it wasn't his time yet, so they had to do
Well, of
something.
course, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that was the only
Back then
reason
it
why.
was
Yeah, they was
yeah.
they was
That
bro, top to bottom, bro. That's probably the best era, bro. You can make an argument. You can make that argument. So
definitely was. They was loaded with top guys back then. It was hard to break into that club.
right,
But yeah, I understand like with Cross. I wouldn't compare Cross to Jericho coming to WWE '99 anyway. But I think he's a good performer. He's got a great promo guy. Does great promos, great character work. His in ring work is what it is though. But you know his character work and his promos will get people interested.
yes,
So I don't know. I just think that it's odd that AEW hasn't tried to sign it. That's just all I'm gonna say. It just kind of screams back to this shit's a work. You never know. That's probably the beauty of pro wrestling is you don't know sometimes whether something is a work, something's a shoot. You don't know. So who knows? But the cross thing, I don't know. I still don't know what's going on with that.
You know, one last thing I want to say that I think the AEW has to stop doing is like sometimes when I turn on the show, it kind of feels like it's like this internet shit where it's like they say little things that has like the little, you know, if you get it kind of thing. They gotta stop that shit, bro. Just put on the show, just put on a wrestling show because if your goal is to get general fans to watch the product, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah,
there's too much of that on AEW. When I turn on the show, I see a lot of that.
that's what
yeah,
I'm saying. That professionalism. That's what I was saying, Reg. That professionalism. That WWE. Them boys and them young ladies. They go out there and they wrestle and they grab that mic, bro, and they say, and the commentators, whoever calling it, they are being coached on how to try to get over to the fans. Like I don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
Like MJF just happened to be that. Like that's just in him. Nobody taught him that. You know what I'm saying? So mm, I don't know,
And
I
bro.
agree with that. I agree with that. They used to do a lot of that shit. Like where I got turned off from AEW was a year ago when they played the fucking backstage video of the incident with CM Punk and uh, Jack Perry. That's why I was like, yeah, you guys are desperate. That was a real situation that happened that led to CM Punk being fired from AEW. And they played it on TV to promote an angle they were doing with the Young Bucks. It was corny, it was desperate, and it screamed WCW desperate. The shit that WCW was doing when they got desperate, that's what it screamed. That's when I was like, you know what? I'm done with you guys because you guys need to be more about the wrestling side of it
Uh,
instead of doing this internet shit. Nobody outside the internet knew anything about the Punk Jack Perry situation. Just like nobody outside the internet knew about the Punk Bucks Omega thing that happened backstage after the Chicago show, where they got into a fucking real fight. And AEW basically suspended everybody and never addressed it on television. And then one day the Bucks were just back on TV.
like nothing
It
happened.
was like nothing fucking happened. And it was just some weird stuff. They really. I'm glad they kind of gotten past a lot of that stuff
yeah.
because that would seem to be more the backstage stuff was dominating their pro. The people was more interested in the backstage stuff than what was going on TV. That's never a good thing. That's
Yeah,
never
and I
good.
mean, I don't care, and I don't care about none of that. So that's kind of,
Yeah,
you know, yeah,
the general wrestling fans don't give a shit about any of that. You know, they don't care
yeah,
about that.
Really
They just want
don't.
to go to the shows.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. WWE fans don't care about that stuff. They just want to go to the shows. They want to do the yeet. They want to do the yeah. They want to go what? They want to do all that do dumb shit and all that goofy stuff
That's
and
a
wave their
part
hands.
of
And
it,
that's what
bro.
they want to
That's
do.
a part of
They
it,
don't
man.
want to.
Don't do that.
that's a
Yeah,
part of it. Yeah,
yeah. They just want to.
Yeah,
They just want to do that stuff. They don't care about the backstage bullshit and who said what and who stabbed who in the back and who got into this. Nobody. Again, that's just us goofy internet wrestling fans that care about that shit. The general wrestling fans that care about that.
Yep.
The last WWE show I went to was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. It was nothing but Roman Reigns t-shirts. And you think these people give a shit about what's going on backstage? They just want to come and see Roman Reigns and put their fingers in the air and all that shit. And that's what they want to do. They don't want to. They don't care about that shit.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
people will boo Roman Reigns with a Roman Reigns t-shirt on just because they know he's a heel. Like they know the game.
That's
I'm supposed to boo him.
that's a separate conversation I would love to have. I don't want to do it here as we kind of going along, but I don't like how wrestling fans cheer the bad guys like that. That what you're saying, I like that, but I see too much of wrestling fans cheering the bad guys. To me, it messes up the atmosphere. But that's a separate thing. We'll talk about it another time. So I'm gonna go ahead and start closing this thing out, and I'm gonna give y'all the last word. But I just want to say that, like, for me, I want to see AEW level up just because, like, to me, having that competition to me created the golden age of professional wrestling. When you had WCW and WWF going at it like they were, it
It's
was just the
true.
golden age of wrestling. And like, it's always that thing of you always run faster when somebody's chasing you, So that time period when WCW went away, I hated that time period because it was just them, So I like the fact that there's another promotion here, another promotion that's viable, and I want them to keep leveling up. I want this to continue. So like the main things that I feel like this has to happen is the premium live events have got to be made more available so you can be competitive in that area. I think you got to promote the product to showcase that you can bring your family to this event. You know what I'm saying? We don't have $5,000 tickets here. You can bring your family to this event. I think they got to stop with the little internet shit. Just put out a wrestling promotion. Just get it done. Just do some wrestling. You don't got to do all that other stuff, man. I think if they do those things, I think they have the opportunity to level up, especially because of there's some backlash right now to the WWE. Whether you think the backlash is right or not, there's backlash. And when there's backlash, there's opportunity. And so I want to see them move up. I want to see it happen. And you know what, man? I don't know. Maybe I'll get the next AEW show. I've never seen an AEW show. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll get it so I can get my first experience of the premium live event of AEWs. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see them level up. And that's the last thing I want to say. And I'll throw it to Kurt, and then I'll give Stan the last word. Kurt.
Um, just continue to do what you do. Put on good shows. Don't try to compete with WWE. Just try to improve your product. Focus on the young niggas. Yo, get them young niggas, like they say in battle rap, get your old ass out the way. Let them young niggas shine, man. Let Swerve, Osprey, MJF. They the future. Let them be that. Other than that, just keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate that alternative. So don't compete with the WWE. Just try to improve your product because you can't compete with the WWE. So just improve your product year after year, year after year, year after year, and just let it grow. That's all I got to say to them.
All right, Stan, last word.
As a lifelong wrestling fan, I just like to see competition in wrestling. And the WWE, when WCW and ECW went out of business, the WWE became McMahon monopoly. They monopolized the wrestling business, and it sucked. It sucked. TNA tried. It never got that level. It just became more so of a the old man senior citizens tour in TNA. What AEW has done, when AEW launched in 2019, they took advantage of the fact that WWE product was fucking horrible and presented alternative wrestling, and it worked. For a few years, it worked, and then it didn't work, and then they kind of went down. Now they have a chance to kind of build themselves back up, sit and kind of past the CM Punk bullshit, past all that nonsense, and just creating stars. They've got stars. I mean, Swerve is a super talented guy that doesn't be fumbled up. You know, Osprey's the best pro wrestler on the planet. Tony Storm has created one of the most unique characters in pro wrestling. Another person that doesn't be fumbled. You know, they most Mercedes is a star, just a star in wrestling. Period. Well, no matter what people think about her, again, you get varying opinions about Mercedes, but she's a fucking star in wrestling. Period. MJF is one of the best heels in the business. A guy that legitimately gets people to boo him, which is hard to do nowadays in this fickle, smart wrestling audience. He's very Roddy Piper-ish to me. Just very much a reminiscence of Roddy Piper. In terms, Piper would just do shit, just just despised at times. He just did things to get people to go out of his way to get people to hate him. They've got stars there. You just gotta keep building on the stars. Again, you use the old guys here and there, the established guys here and there, to put the guys that you want to really elevate over. This is fine. If they're using Edge and Christian to put FTR over, fine. That's fine. If you're using Jeff Jarrett to put this guy over, fine. If you're using Dustin Rose to put this guy over, fine. But Dustin Rose should not be holding one of your major titles at this stage of his career. No, no disrespect. He's had a fantastic wrestling career, but he should not be one of your main champions, which he was for a period before he got hurt. I just want to see them keep going, keep building. I slowly am getting back into watching their product because the WWE product is not very good right now. And just keep building. Just keep building. Keep putting on good wrestling shows. Stop with the internet shit. Stop trying to appease just the internet fans. And just keep going. Because again, I want to see the business continue to grow. I don't want to see WWE buy up everything like they did in the 2000s, like they're doing right now. I want to see AEW is the only company out there that WWE can't buy.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody else WWE can buy. And that's what they're trying to do. WWE's trying to control the whole wrestling business. They want to control everything about wrestling. They want to do. They want to control the wrestling podcast space. They want to control the internet. They want to control everything. And the only person that he can't control is Tony Khan and AEW. So I root for them. I continue to root for them because I want them to stay in business because the business works when there's two major league promotions where guys can say, you know what, fuck this, I'm going there. You know what, I'm stale here. And there's plenty of guys in WWE right now I think should go to AEW. I think Charlotte Flair should go to AEW. I think AJ Styles should go to AEW. I think a number of guys there should go to AEW to freshen themselves up. And that's how it's supposed to work. You go there, you freshen up, you go back to the other promotion. That's what you do. That's how it works. So I hope they keep going because I love pro wrestling and I want pro wrestling to keep thriving. And it only will thrive with multiple options for talent to go.
Right. Cool. We'll leave it there. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Till next time.
Peace.
All right, man. Appreciate it.